Hi STAIR students, my name is Miss Asher and this is lesson 8 of Unit 2 in your writing journal. So for today's activity, we are going to keep working on writing our paragraphs. And before we get started, I am going to review the different parts of a paragraph so that we can remember how to correctly structure a paragraph, and then we'll get started, okay? So remember that a paragraph has 5 parts. So it'll have a topic sentence. That's part number 1 is topic sentence. Then parts 2 through 4 are going to be our 3 supporting sentences. Those are going to be the details that are going to make our paragraph interesting, and they're going to give us more information about our topic. So then our final part, part 5, is going to be our conclusion sentence. And that conclusion sentence is the end of our paragraph, because conclusion means the end. And what it is it's just going to summarize what our paragraph was about and sort of tell the reader that this is the last sentence. So we want to make sure that it relates to our topic sentence and just does a nice job of ending our paragraph on a nice final note. So now that we have gone over our parts of the paragraph, let me tell you guys about today's activity. So this is a really fun one. I actually really enjoyed this activity so much that I could have written a whole short story about it, but I kept it at 1 paragraph. So we are going to be writing about a crazy dream that we had. So can you think of a time that you had a dream that maybe it was really weird or really funny or something crazy happened? And so you're going to write about that dream. You're going to talk about the beginning of the dream, and then you're going to talk about the details of it, and then you're going to talk about the end and sort of give a conclusion in that last conclusion sentence. So what I decided to do was go ahead and write out my dream, and now I'm going to go through it piece by piece. I could have sat here and wrote it all out while you guys were watching, but it would have taken me a long time and I didn't want to bore you guys. So I went ahead and wrote it, and now I'm going to go through my thought process and take you through step by step of how I wrote a whole paragraph about one crazy dream that I had. So I started with my title, which is "That's One Crazy Dream." And I went ahead and underlined that so you know that it's not part of my story, it's just the title. And so my first sentence is the topic sentence. And your topic sentence is probably going to look pretty similar to my topic sentence. Don't copy it word for word, but it'll be very similar because we're all writing about the same thing today. We're writing about a crazy dream that we had. And so a good way to introduce the topic of the dream is just to say something along the lines of, "One night I had a really crazy dream." So that's what I wrote for my topic sentence. And you'll notice that as always, I put a capital O because it's the beginning of a sentence. And I ended my sentence with some punctuation because we always put either a period, a question mark, or an exclamation point at the end of our sentence. So that's my topic sentence, which just lets the reader know that this paragraph is going to be about my crazy dream. So then we are going to have our first detail sentence. And because you're talking about a story, you really want to tell it in order. So my first detail sentence, my first supporting sentence, starts out with this line. It says "at first," and then I talk about it. So that's a good way to introduce a topic that is going to be a story or something that it happens in order. So you're going to use those sort of, they call them transition words, like first, then, next, lastly. Those are really good words to use when you're writing something that happens on a timeline. So you want to make sure you start at the beginning. You don't want to skip back and forth. So start at the beginning, then go to what happens next, and then what happens after that, and then your conclusion. So I wrote for my supporting sentence number 1, I wrote, "At first, I was taking a walk in the park and everything seemed normal." And so then what happened? Let's see. So my second sentence, again, I use that transition word "then" to let you know that this is the next part of the story. So then a giant pterodactyl flew down and grabbed me with its sharp talons. So do you guys know what a pterodactyl is? If you look it up, a pterodactyl is a giant flying dinosaur. They're extinct, thank goodness. They're not around anymore, but they were a giant type of dinosaur that had wings and a big beak, and they were pretty scary looking and they were giant. So in my dream, there was a pterodactyl that came down and grabbed me. So you'll also notice this word is spelled really funny. You don't see this a lot, but the PT in this case makes a t sound. So pterodactyl. Isn't that funny? That's a tricky one. I actually had to look it up to make sure I spelled it right. But again, a pterodactyl is a giant type of flying dinosaur that in my dream scooped me up from the park, grabbed me by the back of my sweater, and whisked me off. And we'll find about where it took me to next. So my third supporting sentence, I wrote, "It dropped me in a giant nest with its babies that had just hatched out of giant dinosaur eggs." So, oh my goodness, that was quite a scene. I'm surrounded by this big mama dinosaur and then all of the babies, which are the same size as I am, and we're all in a giant nest of this giant bird dinosaur. So normally you would write a conclusion after your third sentence, but I had so much to talk about that I actually needed to write a fourth detail sentence, a fourth supporting sentence. And I figured that would be okay because sometimes you need to include a couple more details, and if you have to put one extra sentence into your paragraph to add even a little bit more detail, I don't see why that would be a problem. Just make sure that you're not going overboard with crazy details, but I felt like I needed a fourth supporting detail sentence just to give you guys the last little bit of detail before I concluded my story. So my fourth supporting sentence says, "I had to climb into an eggshell and use it to roll down the hill and escape." So that's what I did. I climbed in one of the shells that the dinosaur babies had just hatched out of, and I used it like a little hamster ball, and I rolled down the hill to get away. And that's how I got away from the dinosaur. And now I have my conclusion sentence, which again is just gonna wrap everything up and remind our reader what we're talking about. So I say, "That was one crazy dream." And then I put an exclamation point at the end because that was just a sentence that I felt like I needed to use a little more emotion for because it was so crazy. And so now that I've gone through my rough draft with you guys, we're gonna go ahead and work on making this into our final draft. So what you'll do in your activity journal is you'll write these sentences out one by one, and then you'll rewrite them again below in their paragraph form. But since I have them written on a whiteboard, what I'm gonna do is just erase. I'm gonna go down and erase the little markings that I made on my rough draft, and then I will have a final paragraph, and I'll read the whole thing to you guys from start to finish so you can get a feel for what it's like to read the whole paragraph together. Okay, so it starts off again. This is called, I'm trying to get the ring light reflection out of the way. That's why I'm sort of tilting my whiteboard a little bit. I hope that's not too distracting. I hope you can still read it. But so remember that we titled this piece, "That's One Crazy Dream." So I say, "One night I had a really crazy dream. At first, I was taking a walk in the park and everything seemed normal. Then a giant pterodactyl flew down and grabbed me with its sharp talons. It dropped me into a giant nest with its babies that had just hatched from giant dinosaur eggs. I had to climb into an eggshell and use it to roll down a hill to escape. That was one crazy dream." All right, so that was my crazy dream that I shared with you guys. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope it wasn't too scary. I know it was a scary dream when I had it, but I hope that nobody has nightmares because of my pterodactyl dream. If you do, you can know that they're dreams because we don't have dinosaurs anymore. So if you're walking in the park and you see a dinosaur, you can think, "Hey, I must be dreaming." So sometimes that's a good strategy for when I'm having a dream that's scaring me. I can point out that that thing can't be real because it doesn't actually exist anymore, at least not in the park, maybe in a museum. But you won't see any live dinosaurs in the park, and that's probably a good thing because they might have to scoop you up and take you back to their nest. So I hope that you guys got some good ideas for this. I hope you can think of a crazy dream that you had. And if you're having trouble thinking of a dream, I know some people don't always remember their dreams, and that's okay too. If you can't remember your dream and you want to write this activity, or you still need to do this activity, you can also make up a dream or think about what a crazy dream might be. If you did dream, what might you dream about? But I hope that you can remember your dreams so that you have lots of content to write about for this activity. And I hope that you enjoy writing these stories. Maybe you can share them with your friends and family. I know that I will certainly have to tell some people. I know I've already told some people because this is a dream I had a long time ago, but I'll tell people about my crazy dinosaur dream because it was a really interesting one and it's always stuck with me. So I hope that you guys enjoy this lesson. I hope that you get some good practice writing paragraphs, and remember, you'll have your capitalization at the beginning of each sentence. You'll have a punctuation at the end, either a period, a question mark, or a exclamation point. And remember, you'll have your topic, your juicy details in the middle, and then your conclusion sentence to make a full paragraph. And I hope that you guys enjoy this activity and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, STAIR students.